All right, everyone. We were going to have a couple of the other Dig the Falls people on tonight, but we're going to get them on a little bit later. Rather than wait longer, I wanted to get on before 7:30 rolled past too far. We're already at 7:33, so I apologize for being late. But this is Dig the Falls. This is our live session. We actually have been trying to do this every Tuesday at 7:30. Tonight we're going to be talking about our favorite our favorite guides, guidebooks, waterfalls, trails, pretty much anything really. We may get Carl and Kara on tonight, and a couple of other Dig the Falls team members, but hopefully you guys can actually enjoy what I'm about to show you. I grabbed several books because I've got kind of an eclectic taste in guidebooks. I use, depending on if I have the kids with me, if I'm by myself, or if I'm looking for a different kind of adventure. So, but give you a little bit of background real fast. I'm Ed Smathers, founder of Dig the Falls. We've been around since 2005. We've got a pretty diverse team all across New York, all volunteer based. We bootstrap the organization, so pretty much almost over 95% of the funding for everything comes from us and the entire team, basically. So, and then we get some great donations from some really great people we get to actually hang out with. So I'm actually going to show you my first kind of odd choice, because I haven't picked this book up in a while, and I really like it because I grabbed it from the New York State Museum downtown Albany, and this is something that I haven't actually touched in a couple of years, and I'm very surprised because right now is the perfect time to grab this book, because it showcases a bunch of areas and places that not a lot of people are visiting and not a lot of people really know about. I don't know if anybody has ever seen Weird New York, but this is actually a really, really fun book. It's got a bunch of different categories in here. I mean, I'll open up to kind of just a random page. I'm not going to show that one. But so it has like different parks, different just random places for kids, hunting. So on the trail of Abigail West. So this is about basically a haunted area you can visit in New York State. Let's flip way back. Time travel in Times Square. So, or the missingest man in New York. So New York City. It's really got some really great things. They've kind of categorized everything in here, depending on area and what it deals with. Everything from the supernatural to the giant of Cooperstown. There's pretty much anybody that grabs this book, I am pretty sure is going to be pretty fascinated with what's in it. And it spans New York State as a whole. So if you're just interested in just kind of odd and weird things and kind of natural sites throughout the state, that's a good book to take. Some of the stuff isn't appropriate for kids because it can be a little bit scary, but the rest of it can be actually perfect. Hi, Jen. It's good to see you. So I would definitely suggest possibly grabbing that book, even if it's going to sit on your shelf for a year. It's definitely worth the grab. Oh, sorry, Jen. Here, I'm going to pop it up again. Weird New York. This is just a really, really fantastic book. It's at the time I purchased it, it was $19.95. I'm guessing it's probably less than that because, geez, I purchased it over 10 years ago. It's still in really good condition, but it's helped me get to a couple of really fun places. So, all right, I'm going to pop on Donna. She's joining us as well. Donna.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Sure.
Yeah, excellent.
This is becoming the Tuesday ritual. I like this.
Fantastic. I'm
Plan
glad.
my Tuesday nights.
Awesome. Did you see the book I popped up?
I saw that one. I haven't actually got my hands on it to see it, but I've heard about it.
It's interesting actually, because there's a lot of really, really kind of fun places in here. I've been to some of these places, and then others I probably would never visit just because they look kind of too creepy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like a, you know, but I mean, there are some really great, like there's a pagoda in, if you go out on Route either 2 or 7, I forget, I think it's 2, out of Troy, New York, and just keep going. There's like this kind of like place that you can show up, and it's like, you know, you can kind of do yoga, and like it's just a
Oh,
cool place, like a super nice place. And then it has like some haunted places. Then it's got some castles, and it's got like
see,
areas
the
like,
haunted places on one hand are
yeah,
fascinating,
yeah, absolutely.
but on the other hand, I don't want to bring anything home with me. So, like out near us, I guess more like the eastern border of what would be Western New York,
Okay,
in
yeah,
Bethany, New York, is
yeah.
Rolling Hills.
Hmm.
And,
Oh yeah.
we've driven by a few times and it's been on a few different ghost hunting shows.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's like, you just don't know. That
And
just freaks me out.
in this book, they call out the a lot of the salt mines. Like in there's actually a town in the Finger Lakes that's built on a salt mine,
Oh,
or above a salt mine, and you know, that I guess is like the most haunted village, I guess, or I don't know. And they've got a, I don't know. It's really cool. People should check it out, though. It's a really cool book, worth the read, definitely. So, did you actually choose a favorite? I'm not going to pull it
well,
out of you yet, but did you choose a favorite?
I have a I have a couple that I would say are my favorite for a couple
My
different reasons.
my stack is this big.
Mine is growing, and I have a Barnes and Noble gift card, and I was
Beautiful.
so tempted to get this other one, but I didn't. I was like, I have a gift card, so why not? But I didn't buy it yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay,
I'm on the fence. I there's a couple of them that I've got on my watch list, but I haven't really purchased any yet, just because
yeah,
I've done, you know, since, you know, the home pandemic, and because of the kids,
yeah,
I've done so little traveling that
right,
it's almost impossible for me to choose a good book right now. So,
yeah. So then it's
um,
like, do I want another waterfall guide, or like you had like the weird
yeah,
places? So it's like, hmm.
you know,
Work them in conjunction with each other.
yeah, it's nice to switch it up a little bit, because like you
Yeah.
have the waterfall guides that take you all over, but then you
Yeah.
can hit some just like crazy random spot that, you know,
Yeah.
like, have you ever heard of the Cooperstown Giant?
No.
Yeah, yeah. So like years ago in the early, I forget, I have to read the book, but I think in the late 1800s, early 1900s, they dug up this, what they thought was a, basically a rock giant. It was a, something like a
Like the
7 or 8.
Easter Island type giants.
Yeah, well, no, it was like this 7 or 8 foot long. Like they thought it was just a fossilized giant. You know, because
Oh,
you know, back then you see a rock in the ground, you're like, how's this get here, kind of thing. You know,
right, right.
so they dug it up. I think someone played a prank and
Yeah.
buried like a, you know, but you know, so they dug it up, and they've got pictures, and the
Uh,
thing is still down there on display, I believe, in Cooperstown.
huh. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool places around New York.
Yeah.
Not far from me in Leroy, you have the Jello
Mhm.
Museum.
Yes.
And is it
Jello is made in, or was invented in Leroy,
in
right?
Leroy? Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, is it up near Governor? Is it like the Wrigley gum?
I think so. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember seeing like the big pack of gum
Yep.
when we were
Yep.
driving through. Up in Akron, like Akron gumballs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
um,
That's right.
my
Yeah.
mom actually used to work for Akron Gum.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, she grew up in Akron,
Oh
and she
wow.
used to work at, well, it's Ford Gum, I should say, correct the name. It's Ford
Okay.
Gum.
Okay.
That's in Akron, New York, also
Yep.
home to Perry's ice cream.
Yep. Oh
Um,
yeah.
but my mom used to work for Ford Gum. She actually used
Wow.
to mix the colors
Oh,
for the
that's
gumballs.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So like little things like that, like
Yep.
you don't realize there's a
Yep.
lot of things made in New York.
Yeah. So the kazoo was invented in Hamburg, New
Yes.
York, and
Wurlitzer organs are here in Tonawanda.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then there was one other random thing. Well, I mean, obviously Buffalo Wings was, you
Yeah.
know, uh,
Yeah.
there, but there was one other random one that I was thinking of. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible, like just
Hmm.
all of the different things that were actually created in New York State,
Yeah.
and you
Yep.
know, But
So, yeah, so there's some fascinating places to go see. So a book like you had, like the weird
yeah.
places, like that's something cool that you could really make a trip out of,
Oh
add a few
yeah.
other things in, but you could find
Yep.
some pretty interesting things. Oh, is
Absolutely.
this
Oh
like,
yeah.
was it like roadside New York, something like
Yeah. Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I've
know
seen that
like
too.
not far from us, I think it's in Lindenville. They have like these shoe trees where
Yeah.
3 or 4 trees, people like throw their shoes up
Yep.
into them and
Oh
all
yeah.
sorts of stuff. So,
Yeah. The
just
first
fun things.
the first time I ever witnessed that was out in Utah. Like I was just like out in the middle of nowhere, and there was this tree with like 1,000 shoes hanging from it. And,
Like,
but
what is going on here?
yeah, what is, yeah, it's kind of strange. But yeah, I haven't, I know about that one, but I haven't actually seen them in Lindenville. So, and
Yeah.
is
My
there,
son has contributed a few pair, all his old
that's
running
great.
shoes.
That's awesome. And a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know of, it's called either Statue Park or Griffiths Park
Oh,
out
yes.
near,
Griffith Sculpture Park.
yes, yeah, in,
Yeah.
is it Springville or
Um,
outside of Springville,
yeah,
basically?
outside, like between, like on the way to Ellicottville,
Yes.
Springville, somewhere right
Yep.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Griffith
like out in the middle
Sculpture
of nowhere.
Park is an
Yeah,
amazing
yeah.
place. A lot
And
of cool statues, just so many works of art out
yeah,
there. I'll put the
yeah,
little asterisk to it. There are nudes, both
yeah.
men and women. So, but it's a cool place to go check out.
Yeah, it's kind of like a random spot, like out in the middle of nowhere. Like this dude just on his land just
Yeah.
placed a bunch of metal sculptures, and
Yeah.
they're not all metal, but like there's like giraffes and there's like
Yeah. And
dinosaurs.
there's everything from like
East
abstract
Otto,
arts, East Otto,
East Otto. Yeah, thank you,
everything
Jen.
from like random structures or like giant crabs or like this
Yeah,
submarine looking thing
yeah.
or,
And there's like miles of
human
trails between
forms.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
it's a
incredible.
really, really cool place. And they're kind of spread out. There's thought to how they're placed.
Yeah,
And you may be walking through the woods and all of a sudden there's a giant crab. And
yep,
there's a lot of cool stuff. Or they have the one
yeah,
pond, they have all these nude women, like different
yes,
diving forms
yep, yep.
around the pond. And
Yeah, that was pretty cool too. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like it's really weird how like it must have been like just like, okay, well, I'm going to choose this area this year, and then I'm going to choose this area
hmm,
this year, and each year he had different thoughts
yeah.
on what he wanted to kind of create. So
Yep. And
yeah, it's
it's
very
all
cool.
interactive, that
Yep,
climb on everything, like
yep, yep.
touch
Yeah,
everything. Like it's a great place for kids
yeah,
because you have to go uphill.
yeah.
So to tire them
Yes.
out. But I mean, there's towers that they can climb in. Like, I
Yep.
mean, there's a couple smaller one, at least one small one, but there's a bigger one, like I can climb up in it.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's a
Well,
cool place. I'm glad you mentioned that one.
yeah, I know. And the cool thing that I found about it is that you're not going to see anything, when I visited, there was like literally nothing roped off. Like if you
No?
wanted to, you could climb to the top of any of the sculptures and
Mhm.
nobody was going to yell at you for it, you know?
Nope. No, they
Um,
don't.
you know, obviously you want to be respectful, but
Right. Right. You're not
um,
destructive, but
right.
it's get on, explore
Yeah.
them. Like that's
Yeah.
all part of like what the
Yeah.
experience is. So yeah,
Absolutely. That
it's
was
a cool
cool.
place.
Yeah. So I don't know about you, but I'm going to grab my first actual hiking guide that I think is probably one of my favorites. It's actually a waterfall guide. Everyone knows the author. Mine, I'm going to kind of state up front, is a little disgusting because I've had it for so long.
It's well
So
loved.
yes, so it's actually one of my very first actual guides that I purchased when I moved into the Albany area, into the capital region, and it's by Russell Dunn. It's called the Adirondack Waterfall Guide. It still looks like this when you try to purchase it off, wherever,
Mhm.
Amazon or whatever. And the amazing thing about this is kind of you could see just how well loved
Yeah.
this is.
At
So
least
look at
then
all the
it's not
tabs.
just like a shelf copy.
Yes.
It's well loved and well
So
used. That's a sign of a good book.
absolutely. And what I really loved about this, and I will say up front that the New York waterfall survey that we have right now was originally based off of uh, this series of guidebooks where, we I started taking some of the information and putting them down in list form so I could follow along and everything. And it just kind
Hmm.
of grew and grew and grew. And, what I really loved about this and what I emulated in the book that I created, or that I was part of, I should say, is that the mapping, like the way he did the mapping on here was just
Hmm.
incredible. And, he's got not a lot of photos, but a lot of really great descriptions and histories and just everything about
Yeah.
the locations. And I did an interview with him, years back, and asked him about that, and his explanation behind not having many photos or just including like the historic postcard photos was
Hmm.
that he didn't want to give anybody a false picture of the location. He wanted them to kind of discover it for themselves and
That
see
makes
it.
sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. I had just gotten his Capital Region book. My husband
Yeah.
surprised me with
Let
it.
me see. Let me see if I can find that. I don't know if I can. Oh, I don't have it here. Shoot. I
Yeah,
wanted to see if.
mine is still pristine. I haven't been able to use it yet. But like you said, um, it's I don't want to say simple because it's not simple, but
Yeah.
um, it's a lot
Thank
of
you, Jen.
information, but it's like you said, there's a lot of words in it, and rather
Yeah. Like
read
it's
it than and see it for yourself.
exactly. And you will find there in some of the texts there are some like mistakes in the way like you would travel to the location, but like
Hmm.
he wrote these books years and years ago. So I mean at the time they were probably very accurate. And
Hmm.
then, just through the years roads have changed and different things like that. So thank you, Julie. Julie rocks. Mine's not as good, but thank you. I enjoy the Capital Region one because it has one of my favorites for the region, which is John Boy Thatcher Park.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I need to
yeah,
explore that one
oh
more.
my gosh, it is so incredible. That area, um, you know, this like say you go there and the water isn't flowing, it doesn't matter because you still got the escarpment, you've got all the
Hmm.
trails. They have the rock climbing wall and the kids stuff that you can go to.
Hmm.
They have the new nature center now, which is nice. I haven't been to that, but I've heard it's very nice. Uh, but yeah, it's always a good one to go to. And then you can travel. Like I usually, what I'll do is I'll go to John Boyd Thatcher, and then I'll go over to Rensselaerville Falls.
Oh, I
And
love Rensselaerville.
yeah, oh
Oh,
my
I
gosh,
love
such an
that
awesome
one.
spot. Yeah, definitely an awesome spot. So, um, and then I'm gonna do mine. I'm gonna cheat if that's okay because
It's not cheating if you admit to it.
well, that's true. Okay, so and you're gonna laugh at this because I'm gonna show a couple of them right now. So here's all these plus the
Oh,
one that yeah plus the one I just showed.
yeah.
Okay, and then yours. Okay, so those are the ones that I chose kind of off the cuff that I, because they were the first waterfall guides that or the
Mhm.
first guides really that I had ever, purchased. But as you can see, these ones are well used as well. So I have actually haven't opened those up. I would be interested to read like our notes on those because,
Uh,
it'd be interesting. So, but, I think that, Russell Dunn is a really fantastic untapped source because not only does he have like several hundred waterfall locations that he's placed in these guides, he also has so many other ones that he's got on paper that he hasn't really even shared in any of his guides. So
so
like
he's got them tucked away for
he
future
does
knowledge to
he
share.
does yeah, oh yeah. And he's given me a little bit of a glimpse of what he's kind of tucked away, but I know that he's given John Haywood like a huge
Mhm.
glimpse, and it'd be really interesting once he actually hands off all that knowledge to John, because I think that's what he's going to do, to see where that goes, because I'm sure that could make several more books on top of
Wow.
it. So yeah, so some really nice ones, because I mean,
Jealous.
yeah, I know.
The
I
trouble is
mean,
for me, they're on the other side of the state.
yeah, true.
So,
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because I was like, okay, so where are the rest of these guys for the rest of the state? And that's how I originally contacted Russell. I was like, okay, hey, you did these ones. Are you going to do the rest of the state? Are you planning on it? He's like, nah, it's Scott Ensminger from Fall Sky. He's got that all taken
uh,
care of. I'm not going to touch the other side of the state.
oh, okay.
So the problem is that Scott created the Letchworth State Park book, which is
Mhm.
one of my favorites that I have in
I do
digital
have that
form.
one too. I don't think
Yeah.
I grabbed that one. That's
Oh
on
man,
my that's
it's
on my shelf though. I know I
okay.
have it. I know I have it here. I can grab it.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
see
because
it. Let me grab it.
do it. Yeah, because honestly, for anybody that's watching, this guide for Letchworth Park is like the quintessential guide to have. It doesn't
Yes.
list every single
Yes.
location in the park, but it lists all of the sanctioned waterfalls by Letchworth Park.
Yeah.
So, like, I believe he might have like a forward in there that states that he worked closely with
Let's see.
the park.
I'm sure he did. Let's see. Front
Because there are
cover, front
definitely,
cover.
yeah, there are a lot of locations in the park that you just don't want to visit because they're kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
They call it the Grand Canyon of the East for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. You can have fun at Letchworth, but Letchworth needs to be taken seriously.
yeah, oh
It's
yeah,
it's no joke.
yeah.
Um,
Julie's awesome.
what'd she just say? She should be on here with us.
I
Come
know
on,
she should
Julie.
join on. She
Come on,
she's actually
Julie.
she's watching a volleyball game. Thank you for
Oh,
jumping in, even though you're at a volleyball game too. Thank you, Julie. It's awesome. Good luck to Bella. I'm sure she's going to do awesome like she always does.
yeah.
Uh, but
This has a lot of great information about the park.
yes,
Um, I don't think, I guess I found the more travels that we've gone on, like you just hear a name,
yes,
but there's
hmm
history to the name and where that name came from. Like there was a
hmm
person named Letchworth and what his history was, but
right,
also the history of the area.
hmm
And there's so much I know I took for granted about Letchworth. And we've definitely gotten off the beaten path more these past
yeah,
few years because
nice,
it is just an incredible park. And there
hmm
is so much more to see than just the big three waterfalls. The
exactly,
trails there are spectacular, and there are so many of them,
yeah,
and they're all different.
yep,
You can have some that are a little bit more flat, some that are more of a challenge. Some go through the old growth forest, some the
yeah,
one goes along the gorge. So it depends if you want to be around a lot of people or if you want to be more by
yeah,
yourself. There's a
yep,
lot to that park. I mean, what is it? 17,000 acres. Like it's
something crazy.
huge.
It's 24 miles long or whatever it is, and
Yeah, or 17 miles
yeah,
long, 14,000 acres, something like that. But it's
yeah, and
huge. It's really huge. And like you said,
where
with
did
all
you?
these waterfalls, they're all over the park.
Yeah,
And you're not going to see them if you go to only the main overlooks.
yeah,
You need to
exactly.
go on some of those trails to be able to see them.
Yeah, Gibsonville is one
Yep.
of those areas where
Yep.
you go into.
Gibsonville.
Yeah, and you randomly come across a couple of waterfalls that you never would have thought were there
No,
because they're not
no.
marked. And a couple of them are roadside, but then you follow down the trail a little bit longer,
Mhm.
and you see some really spectacular ones down
Yeah.
in that area.
And I think people don't go to the other side of the park. They go to the
No,
main side. They don't go to
yeah,
the other side.
yeah,
And that other side has the Finger Lakes Trail on it. Um,
yeah,
and you can go to that side without paying admission.
Yeah.
But there's the parade grounds area. It's a nice picnic area, but there's
Yep.
trails all along that side of the gorge too.
Yeah. The
And
Nunde side. Yeah.
yeah, and what
Yeah.
you can see when you're on that side that you couldn't see if you were on
Hmm.
the Castile and Mortgageville
Absolutely.
sides
Yep.
or Mount Morris sides. Like you wouldn't see it from there.
Yep.
And we've been exploring that side a little bit more. And the trail has all have signs, but obviously they're not as well used as
Yeah.
the other side. But
Well, that I found kind of nice. I mean, there is the Finger Lakes Trail and the one.
is it
Is it the Finger?
Genesee Valley Greenway? Something like
I
that?
think so. Yeah, and it runs along the gorge for a little bit,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, but then
I
it
think so.
yeah, but like it's just I
There's
like if you
one, it's like Mount Morris, like across the Genesee
yeah
near Mount Morris,
yeah
like
yeah.
outside the park. I think that's the Genesee Valley Greenway,
I think you're
something
right.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't been on that one, but so like you go into Nunde side and you go down maybe half a mile, and you have that picnic area on the left. But
Yep, the
then you
parade
go down.
grounds.
Oh, parade ground. So and then you go down that little hill. And
Yep.
then you have the parking on the either side, and that's a
Yeah.
nice little kind of trail. But
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. It's probably changed since I've been there last, but it eventually just dead ends, right? I mean, you do have a trail, but it's technically you're not supposed to travel past a certain point.
Well, that road ends
Yeah.
at what is another trail, but you can
Right.
drive on it because we've driven up
Oh,
and
okay.
you follow that up because when we last took it, it's not like pure stone, but
Right.
it's not paved.
Okay.
Um, you go up and there's another overlook. So I want to say you're on the other side from Tea Table Overlook.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of
Okay. Yeah.
those
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right up there,
Because there's you. It's not as far as is it as far as Inspiration Point
past Inspiration Point.
past there. Okay. Okay.
Past Inspiration
Wow.
Point. I
Okay.
want to, I mean, I could grab the map and look,
Yeah.
but that's another map that's well loved.
So, but it goes that far. You can see that
We
far.
were there one time and my husband dropped it and I had to backtrack and find it. And we saw these two hikers looking at a map. And I'm like, did you find that on the ground? Well, yeah, we did. Like, that's mine. Can I have it back, please?
Sure it is. Sure it is, Donna.
Sure. But it's a
That's
nice
great.
map. And we had driven up there and there's one really nice overlook that has the stone wall like the other side does.
Okay.
But
I
it's
don't think I've been that far.
yeah, like there's cabins on the Nunde side and it's past like that last cabin
Jeez.
loop.
Okay. So how the heck did I not? I lived there
You must
for
not have you must not have
like
gone far enough.
no, because I literally lived I lived in Cast Isle
Yeah.
for 10 years. So I mean I was there all the time, and I guess I was just looking for kind of like the easy stuff, and I was in
Yeah.
my
I mean, at
teens,
one
so I didn't
point, like
care.
the pavement does end.
Okay.
So it's definitely a little bit rougher road, but there's
Yeah.
another loop of cabins down at the end.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
I don't know which ones they are. I know they all have alphabets.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's D or E, but there's ones way down at the end, and there's a
Oh,
couple
interesting.
trails off that end.
Okay. I know during the fall and spring, I used to go there mushroom hunting randomly. It's actually a great area for like if you're looking for mushrooms, good mushrooms anyway. But that's another story. So
Yeah.
uh, not not the bad kind of mushrooms, the good like
Yeah,
gourmet
specify which ones
mushrooms.
you're looking
Yes,
for.
the gourmet mushrooms, the kinds you put on
Cooking
pizza, and yeah,
mushrooms.
cooking mushrooms. So. Uh, I was on my
Oh,
I
too
was in
funny.
my teens, but I was responsible. So,
Sure. Okay. We'll go with that.
um, so I do remember, the probably one of the very last times I went there was actually photographing for the Waterfalls of New York State book,
Mhm.
and I just all I did was I went to a little bit past the parade grounds, got a picture of
Hmm.
middle falls and upper falls, and then left. And that's basically all the time I had.
Yeah.
So I need to
Yeah.
get back there sometime
There's
soon.
a lot of great ones if you just go off the
Yeah.
path, and even like if you're not looking for waterfalls, like it's just I love going to that park, and I'll say it to my husband, and he's like, "You want to go there again?" I'm like, yes, because
Each time is always different. It's
it
so
is so
different each time.
different, and
Yeah.
it's so different in every season
Yeah.
that it wasn't until I want to say like 3 years ago was the first time I ever went in the winter because we would
Oh
always
yeah.
saw like typical summer season,
Right, right. No, the
and
winter's awesome.
and
It's incredible.
we might have gone in the fall, but I just don't remember. And
Yeah.
I know they always have the big craft festival in the
Yep.
fall, and so we would always avoid it that weekend. But that's really all we did. We never
Yeah.
went in the winter. And my husband and I went, it was in January, and there was so much snow, and
Yep.
before we had snowshoes. And we hiked like 7 miles.
Wow,
And
seriously. Holy cow.
yeah,
Well,
without
but
snowshoes.
it's
But,
was it packed down at that time? Because like a lot of those
well,
trails get pretty well packed.
we started like at the Mount Morris entrance, and we thought, oh,
Oh,
we'll just follow the
geez.
gorge. And then
Wow.
it's kind of like if we go too far, then we
Yeah.
have to walk
Yep.
back.
Oh
So
yeah.
we got back to the car and we drove a little bit, and we went to like Hogsback Overlook. And
Okay.
then we got
Yep.
to the point where they closed the middle section.
Yeah.
So we
Yep.
had to exit at, is it exit at Cast Isle or Perry? Exit at
Perry.
Perry.
Yeah,
And then you have
Perry.
to come in at Cast Isle.
Right.
So we
Yep.
came in at Cast Isle and parked there. And then we kind of walked along the gorge
Yeah.
and then got back
Yep.
in and went for like Inspiration Point and
Yeah.
then down. Like, but overall, we did like 7 miles,
Wow. Yeah,
and it was some
that's
deep
nice.
snow,
Oh
but
yeah.
it was beautiful because in the winter, like there aren't a lot of people there.
No.
So you really are enjoying it without all the crowds around.
Right.
And it just looks so different every day, every season. You're not going to get the same thing.
I love going there and going to the oh shoot, I forget what the inn is called there.
Oh, the Glen Irison.
Glen Irison, thank you. I actually did dishes there one summer. Yeah, I worked there
I've
one summer.
never been there.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually the food
I've
is
never been
delicious.
there.
Yeah, food
Nope.
is awesome. Yeah. But I like going there during the wintertime because their fountain actually like freezes
Yes.
up and it's like, you know,
Yeah.
that giant ice
Yeah, the
sculpture.
big volcano.
Yeah.
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 It
It's
didn't
too
get as
cool.
high this year. It got up pretty good,
Yep.
but not as high as it was, whatever, a few years ago when we had that frigid
Wow.
winter. But
Yeah.
I think they're doing like some rehab work on the Glen Irison, because when we were there the last time, it was closed, which I think they might normally close in the winter.
In the winter,
But
yes.
there was a lot of scaffolding around, so I think
Oh,
they were
okay.
doing like some rehab work.
Okay.
So yeah.
We may be getting Kara in a couple of minutes.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
mhm.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I think geez, my sister, because she still lives out in Western New York, and she actually worked at the park the last couple of summers.
Yeah.
But she got to watch the progression of the new bridge going across.
Oh, yeah.
So
I found some of my pictures of the old trestle. So I think we were down there. Let's see, it was our 17th anniversary. We
nice.
spent the day down there, and we walked out on the trestle.
Who doesn't?
I know, not now, but we walked out on the
Kara.
trestle, and I had some pictures like underneath. So, hi, Kara.
Hi.
How are you doing?
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Doing good.
Yeah. We shared our books already. Did you bring
Oh,
one?
you did? What did you talk about?
I didn't share all of mine yet, though.
Oh, okay.
No, not all.
I
not
only
all.
shared Letchworth because I'd asked about it.
Ooh, very nice.
And I have the Russell Dunn's Catskill book, but
very nice.
Actually, I had a really random one that I chose.
Oh,
So, have you seen this?
no.
Oh man, it's fantastic. You look the book up. It's totally fun. Like there's so many different like weird fun places that it lists off. It's so much fun.
Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, you should.
just like those totally random places in New York.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like-
I love stuff like that.
So like anything from like haunted places to fun places to like petrified giants to like just lots of cool things.
Oh,
So
very
yeah,
cool. That's a good one.
Stay away from the mole people of New York City though. You don't want to,
The what? The old people?
no, the mole people. You haven't heard of the mole people
I've
of New
never
York
heard
City?
of them.
They actually live underground in New York City in the subways and stuff. Like there's a whole community of individuals. I guess they call them mole people. Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
I will definitely stay away.
I'll take your word on that one.
Yeah.
Jen Stasio says hi, by the way.
Oh, hi, Jen. Yay.
She's been adding some good ones here. So we actually have been talking about Letchworth Park for a while because of the book. I showed off my collection of Russell Dunn guides, and they're completely disgusting because I've had them for way too long. So
I just told them they're well loved.
Yeah.
They're well
Right,
loved.
exactly.
They're not disgusting. They're well loved.
I'll take that. So, Cara, did you choose at least one good one?
I did. Okay, so I feel like I always talk about this one, so I don't know if like people are just like sick of it or whatever. But okay, so so mine is it's not just waterfalls, but it's the secret places.
Ooh.
Oh, secret places of Western New York and Southern Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
How do I not know that one?
It's by Bruce Kirschner.
Okay. Very
so
nice.
He was like an environmentalist and is local to Western New York. And he was actually a teacher at one of the schools in the area. I mean, I don't like know who he is or anything. I just this book is like what kind of got me started.
It's Kushner.
So, yeah, Bruce Kirschner. He's
okay,
like right back in the day when you could like walk on the top of whatchamacallit. I'm sorry. I know I'm live, so my head is like Donna, what is this place? The Chimney Bluffs.
Chimney Bluffs.
Yes,
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So he gives like
I
really
couldn't tell by the picture what it was.
It looked like a castle, actually. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Chimney Bluffs, Ed?
I have actually. We did engagement portraits there for one of my good friends out in Western New York. Yeah, it was so much fun. We got his daughter out on one of the edges of his daughter and son-in-law on one of the edges of the bluffs, and we walked around to one of the other ones, and it was just like amazing. Yeah,
that'd be
such an awesome
cool.
spot.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's really crazy in some spots, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what else does that book have in it?
Okay, so back in the day, like my sister and I used to do a lot of these, and we did actually do like DeQ Falls up in Ontario and Canada, which is really fun. But this kind of got me started. Like he was big on like the old growth forests. So like Zora Valley, Rhinestone Woods. So remember when like your dad used to like draw you some maps on how to get places? Okay.
Awesome.
So okay, that is Zora Valley, and I cannot even tell you. I pulled this out the other day still, and was like, okay, where exactly was I, and what waterfall was that? You know, so it's like, it is his directions to everything are so detailed. It's like it's so awesome.
I will say. That's a good fact, by the way. I will say, and actually, to add to that fact, the book that Donna showed, one of the original versions showed for, I want to say it was like three. Yeah, one of the original versions showed for like 300 and something on eBay one time.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Mine was not that much. I don't even think it was like
we're on
25
Antiques
bucks.
Roadshow or something.
Is
And
it
Sean
autographed? Is it
actually,
on parchment paper?
no, it's yeah, it was insane. Sean actually has a great suggestion here. We need to kind of relist post a list. Actually, I'm going to post a list of the books. So if you guys can send me an email, I'll post a list of these books for you guys. Great suggestion, Sean. I actually had coffee with Sean over the weekend. Awesome dude. It was a lot of fun. So thanks for meeting up, him and his son actually. But yeah, I'd be interested in that book because I'm wondering. Zor Valley.
I don't think we have that one.
Okay,
but I know I've seen it before.
Really? Okay, that's good to know, because Zor Valley is kind of like a sore subject for a lot of people, just because there are so many sensitive areas inside of that valley.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't even know about the valley itself, let alone how sensitive these areas are.
Mm-hmm.
There are portions that like a lot of people, like literally no one can get into unless they have like special like permission from like the state or whatever. So it's pretty interesting. There are probably at least half a dozen waterfalls that are probably never be visited by almost anyone because of that. So it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna have to check out that book now.
I'm looking it up on Barnes and Noble.
Okay. Watch it be $96 there too.
I have gift cards. Does it spell out Western New York?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And like, let's see. I know I kept like I did like a lot of like highlighting.
Yes.
I like to show people like what we went through before we had internet stuff. And like, I have like, done, marked it off.
Yeah.
And then my sister's like, oh, very bad. Don't do that one again. We had like a rough time trying to find something the one time.
We've done the same thing with, and it's funny you say that because I've got, if I can pull one up fast enough, I'll pull it up because, took photos here, 2008, Abby was with us. So Abby is one of the dogs that my wife used to own, but yeah, same thing, 2008. Oh. So yeah, so it's funny you guys do the same thing. It's good to hear.
Yeah, but like there were no other options, to like put notes in your phone or download maps and stuff like that. It wasn't, it just wasn't like that. So you used what you had.
You know what's
funny? I'll show mine. Because mine is Ed's book, Waterfalls of New York State. But you'll notice.
I love this. Yeah. I love this.
I added the spiral binding because mine was getting very well loved. And covers were falling off. It was showing its love.
I was so
when I showed Ed that the first time, he's like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But what I also did was add a pocket in the back.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. Because I would have like all my plans and like I wanted a pocket in there. But since you're noting things, like I would note on the pages like the day I went and who I went with. And if it was like number 5 of 6 for the day or whatever it might be. So almost like a little bit of journaling. Yeah. Like this one, it was the Falls of Clarendon, which isn't maybe like 45 minutes from me. We went in August 2018, Phil and I, dry, not much rain this summer. Then revisited December of 18, a little bit of water flowing with Phil for a day after Christmas to get outside for a trip. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, just like little things. Like another one, we went to Glen Falls and Williams. Well, this is right down the road from where I work.
Yeah.
After I got out of work, in all the years of working in Williamsville, I've never been to this park before. Great little park off Main Street in the Village, beautiful falls. Mm-hmm. So just like little notes like that for me. So yeah, like I like doing that.
I lived in Williamsville for about 5 months once. It's a good little, cute little town.
Yes, yes, cute little village.
So anybody can steal this idea, but I've had this idea very similar to what Donna's kind of illustrating here, and it the reason why I came up with this idea is because of what you just said. Is basically you want somewhere where you can write that kind of information. And just recently, someone suggested another kind of idea to me that kind of solidified it for me. Basically, a waterfall guide, but one side would be the information of the waterfall, and the other side would actually be lines with, like, it would state date, who you're with, information and other, because I mean, none of these books ever have those lines put in there that you can literally kind of write in. So, and even having
like
a blank
this
page.
One. Number 100. So
That's awesome.
I would do stuff like that with it. It's like I'm going to write in it. So like it's my book, and
yep, absolutely.
I did have the plastic cover on this, but it fell off.
I actually I have my one of my original books here, and Jess and I started, I don't know, probably it was somewhere around the time that Donna, you and I had met in person. So, maybe a couple months before that, Jess and I and the kids actually started traveling to these waterfalls.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. We're like, okay, so we're going to complete the 100 as a family, and so far I think we've been to 3. So
there's no time limit on
it.
Well, so
Jen asked where I went and got the binding. Jen, you can just go to like Office Max, Office Depot. It used to be Kinko's, whatever that is. I just went there and did it.
Oh, wow.
And like, it's not much. I want to say it was less than $10.
Oh, wow. That's cheap.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And
nice.
That includes like them hole punching it, putting the spiral on. And I had gotten a cover on it, but it has since fallen off. But I got John's book, same thing, spiral bound. And I added the pocket.
Show that monster off. Yeah.
I added the pocket to it. And that's my own doing. Like I just took probably cardboard from a cereal box and just like taped it on the back. But because it's always in the car with us, or I'm shoving it in my backpack, I put the vinyl cover.
Yeah.
Right.
And I put like the packing tape around the edges, since that's what gets the most wear. But yeah,
for anybody that's wondering, that guide is the new guide for the 100 Waterfalls Challenge. The previous guide that Donna was shown is the guide that I co-authored that can still be used for the challenge, but is not really the go-to guide anymore for the challenge. So when you're looking up the guide, if you search John Haywood on Amazon, that's where you'll find that guide. So use the newer guide, because the old guide actually has some spots that are posted, so you won't be able to you won't be able to go to the waterfall. So just a warning. But Donna, I'm still jealous that you were able to get those spiral bounds.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't much, and I guess because once I got the first one, like it was just falling apart, and like I want to keep everything together. So like I'm just gonna go see, and it was like $8-10. So I'm like, that's worth it to me, because we were always taking the book with us. So like I wanted to keep it protected, because whether it's in my backpack or stuck between the seats in the car, it's like it was getting miles on it.
So Donna, actually Donna and Cara, you guys can answer this. So as far as guidebooks go, would you prefer them to be kind of like smaller, like like these ones are smaller, whereas like
I like this size.
Yeah, because you do like this size. Okay.
Yeah, I like this size.
That's good to know.
I guess because like if I want to write in it, and because if like using it how I am to write some notes on it, there's more space to do that. And I know there's like a few blank pages in here, like I could write notes if I want, but I like this size.
It's nice to have margins.
Yes, it's nice to have the margins. It's a little bit bigger, but I don't think it's so big that it's difficult to carry or anything like that.
Yeah, it's like
So
it's not like you're doing like a through hike or like something that
right,
you're hiking
right. That I
for,
want to
20
limit what I'm
miles.
carrying, anything like
Right.
that. So
Right. Okay.
yeah,
You
yeah.
you feel the same way, Cara?
I mean, I was gonna say I like my smaller book, but it
Yeah.
might be just because that's what we're both used to
Mm.
having. Do you know what I mean? So like
Yep.
I've always carried a smaller pack unless like I'm doing, you know what I mean, unless like, there's like swimming or something where you need like extra stuff to bring and all that. But it's always been the size of it's been very convenient. That's what I'm trying to
Gotcha.
say. So, yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes like if I don't want to carry this, I'll just take a picture of the page. Like if we're doing multiple ones, I'll take a picture of it, and that way I don't have to carry the book. But
Gotcha.
I think it just depends on the person. But
Yeah.
I like this size, but if it's thinner, like this Letchworth one, it's thin, so this size makes sense. And this isn't, what is this, like not even 100 pages. So I mean, this isn't heavy at all. So
Where did you pick the Letchworth book up at? Was it Amazon or was it somewhere
I
else?
want to say I got this on Amazon. I
Okay.
don't remember where I heard about it. It wasn't at the park, but I'm sure they have these in the park or something like these in the park.
Yeah, it was amazing
there's-
because, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, they have a couple like gift shop kind of places, so I would think they have something like this there. But
They actually shut down one of the gift shops recently. I don't know whether they weren't making a lot of money or whatever, but they shut it down.
The one by the dam, or
I can't remember. My sister was actually, I should know this because my sister worked at the thing, but it was one of the bigger ones that they had, and they shut it down. So if anybody's going there, there's going to be less gift shops basically.
Yeah, because there's one by the dam at the Mount Morris entrance,
Mhm.
and there's one kind of in the middle, like between close to the road down to Lower Falls.
Mhm. It's
Right.
like between
So I would say like
Castile
between
and
Lower
Porterville.
Well, I would say like the road to Lower Falls and Inspiration Point.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You talk about the Welcome Center?
Yeah. Well,
I know like there's almost like the park headquarters is there.
Yeah.
So it's more than just a gift shop.
Right. Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, to tell you the truth.
We've been in that one.
Okay. But anyway, so anybody visiting the park might have a little trouble there. But it's funny because Scott actually stopped printing that book for years, and I forget he had had some trouble getting it like published somehow, or like selling it or something. But I mean, now he's got it all set up really nicely. You can go to his website, fallsguy.com, and I believe you can buy it directly from the website itself too.
Yeah, it is copyright 91, 96, 2016, 2018.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And he's updated quite extensively since the first publication too. So, so if anybody finds one of the earlier versions on Amazon for $300 and something, it might be worth it. I don't know. I'd actually be interested because I do have one of the first editions on PDF, and I'd be interested to match him up with the guy, the newest guide. Actually, be interested. To see.
Yeah, mine must have been like the 18 version because I know it wasn't too long ago. That I got this. I mean, it wasn't like in 96, so I know that.
Yeah, the one that I got is 18. All black and white. Yeah.
Yeah, but he has some great maps in it. I like that it's like he has it broken down by sections, and he kind of puts the locations on the maps for you. But you look at this and people realize, like, wow, like he'll say the waterfall name and trail map 6. So then you go to trail map 6 and you can see where it is. So it's a great book. So
there's like 24, 26 waterfalls in that book now, I think.
Can I see the cover of that again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think he has How to reach the best viewing areas for more than 25 waterfalls found in one of New York State's most spectacular parks. Yeah.
And that's Scott's book you were saying?
Yeah, that's
Scott Ensminger. Yeah.
Yeah.
I use a lot of his maps actually. Like
Yeah.
they're always available and they're on point. So
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. He's one of those individuals that he doesn't like to post something unless it's absolutely spot on. Like he's a very, very straightforward, this is how it has to be type of person. It's fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah. I've been working with him for a long I've never met him in person, honestly, but I've been going back and forth with him through emails for, over a decade. He's a great guy.
I actually just emailed him like a few weeks ago about Zora Valley, just to make sure I wasn't like going on the private property, because I just hadn't been there in so long in that particular area. I didn't want to, end up somewhere I shouldn't have been. So
yeah,
he was very helpful.
Oh yeah, he's very straightforward about that kind of information too. Like he'll tell you, stay the hell away from it. It's really it's refreshing, really. So, Kara, did you have more than one guide, or was that your number one guide?
Well, I snagged like another Bruce Kirshner one, which is like it's a lot of like the old growth forests, mainly of like Zora Valley. So like I won't bore you with that, and I haven't like
not boring. It's not.
Yeah, I haven't
really
gone
isn't.
through it. Okay, I'll just throw it. But I haven't really gone through it completely, but I just knew it would have more like Bruce Kirshner maps in it, which I obviously love. So is this one, and I got that, I don't know, several months ago on Amazon for like maybe $40, and it was the last one. So I was just like, well, I'm just gonna get
it. Old growth forests really they intrigue me. I really, really enjoy old growth. So to my recollection, there is one on the New York Pennsylvania border it was called like Hart Forest or something like that. So I really want to visit that sometime soon. So, I can't see that this is coming from our private group, but which has been the toughest waterfall? That's a good one, because I've been to a bunch of waterfalls, and some of them are very difficult. I would say probably the toughest ones are the ones that I haven't been to, only because they required. Like there was one when I was actually photographing for the waterfalls of New York, the very first the book that I co-authored. It literally required me to walk up the river a mile, like river walk a mile to get to the thing, and like I got half a mile. I'm like, there's no change in grade anywhere here. Where the hell is this waterfall?
Right.
So I literally gave up. I'm like, dude, I'm up to my waist in water. I've got, a backpack full of, probably $2,500 worth of camera equipment. I'm not going to fall in the water. So, and this is somewhere in the Adirondacks. So I'm like, yeah, forget this. I turned around, and that I would have to say is probably my, most difficult. So Don and Kara, you probably have a better story than that.
I'll let Kara go first, because I got to think.
Is it like toughest waterfall, like that you've been chasing, or toughest waterfall to climb, or?
That's a good question. You could kind of take it from a different vantage points, right? Yeah.
Just because I think I have multiple stories, and I won't bore you with all of them, but I tried. I actually did. Okay, so my sister and I went to Excelsior Glen, and we did the waterfall climb, which I knew would be very difficult. And I just didn't think about, it's difficult getting up them, but how difficult it is getting down. It's basically impossible. So I was forced to go over onto, like the woodsy part, the woodsy area next to the falls. And there's lots of details to the story. Most of it involves me feeling bad about putting my sister in that position and feeling like I was going to die, fall off the edge of like into the ravine. And then I we actually used a rope to get back down. So like we tried to climb the very last waterfall because like I'm really kind of adventurous, and then the ground beneath us kept falling out. So we decided to go back, and I was like, well, you know, this is kind of isn't worth it. So we went back, and the very last waterfall to get down was the hardest, and we were just like completely stuck against the side, just like afraid to like slip down off the edge into the ravine. So like we got out a rope and like put it around the tree, and I went down first, and she came down. And welcome to Watkins. Yep, right by Watkins Glen. And we kept alternating with the rope until we got down. And my sister was like, where did you get that rope? And I was like, well, Dad. So I don't know. I just started bringing that with me. And now I'm like, if anybody asks me like what's an essential, and I'm telling you, like, I just like, I was so emotional after. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta chill out because that we can't do that again. And so I always say like bring a rope, because you just never know what you're gonna get into.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump into an obscure movie reference. So you got to the bottom of that of whatever you're doing with that rope, and did you pull like a Sam on Lord of the Rings? You just kind of flop the rope around a little bit and it just kind of untied itself, or how did you get that rope back?
No, we didn't do that. No, well, we just kind of like, I really honestly just like threw it up and then put it around. So we held
nice.
both.
Okay. All right.
Jen, don't laugh. We go on some adventures together, so like I'm really afraid because like I put my sister in a lot of precarious situations. I'm really afraid to do that to anybody anymore. So
that's one thing I've learned is my limits. Like if all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I don't know how we're going to get back up, so let's not go down. As it was when we were doing like the Utica area, and we had gone to Whitaker, and we kind of like walked up, and then we were going to head back down to where the falls are. And because that's like the campground there, and there were some stairs down, they were a little shady, but the gorge walls were pretty steep. And we saw like these people like trying to walk down. A couple of people were like barefoot and whatever, and like trying to get down, like you're pretty much sliding down. I'm like, how am I going to get back up?
No way.
And it's just like, and we saw these two young girls go down, and they had flip-flops on, and I was like, yeah, I'm good here. It's okay. I will call this one done. Dogs.
That's an awesome park, but like like towards the end, like you don't want to be jumping down into that area.
Myself and go take care of the dogs. I'll be right.
That's crazy. But yeah, it's Whitaker's a nice area, but I like you bring up a good point actually, Cara. Like, you know, there have been a couple of times that I've been in areas like even at John Boyd Thatcher Park, like I'm not sure if you've ever been there, but
no, I haven't.
You can put yourself into some pretty kind of crazy spots there. And I was on a hike with John Haywood and Russell Dunn and a bunch of other different people. We were doing like one of our, we used to do Dig the Falls hikes a long time ago, like several years ago. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And we get some people, and literally like one time I put myself in a position where I jumped like 7 foot across from one giant rock to another. And I was like, it's a good thing nobody was looking, because like I almost,
almost lost
it. Yeah. And it was stupid on my part. Yeah. It was great, but it was stupid on my part, But yeah, you can get into that situation crazy fast without even realizing it. So, and like afterward, I made the jump, but then I turned around. I'm like, oh God, I didn't realize it was like 20 foot down between the two jumps.
Right.
Holy cow. So
when one of the falls I showed last week, Harper Falls, and I'm up on the rock, like I managed to climb over, and I'm kind of like angling the tripod trying to get the picture, and just move my foot a little bit, like my heel went down, like, oh, yeah, we're not paying attention to where we are. Like, stand still.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, you just lose perspective where you are. And it's like, you could be in a not good situation fast.
Yeah. What's the one we were talking about up near Whiteface?
Wilmington Notch?
Yeah, Wilmington Notch. That one would be an easy one to kind of, like on a rainy day, I could see someone being on that outcrop of rocks looking down on the falls. And like those rocks, when it gets rainy, it's like they're super coarse, but when it's rainy, they're like ice. So I could see someone easily like kind of losing footing on there and just not being aware of their surroundings, like super fast.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I'm all confident until I'm not. And I just lose my confidence. And it's like, you know what? If I lost it, it's not worth going any further.
Yeah,
like when we went to Salmon River Falls, like, but I think they've redone the trail a bit.
Yeah.
But even though I had my boots on, and like that trail is like, you're lucky if it's like a foot wide when we went. And I just got to a point of like, no, this is far enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't need to go down, and it's just, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, even when I went, it was, back in 2011 or 12, it was like single trek all the way down through. If you came up against someone, you're going to have to step off the side of the trail or whatever.
And we had to. And of course, there were people walking past me with flip-flops on. I'm like, you go right ahead. I got boots.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. You go right ahead. That's where, like, when I ran into Jen and Kara at the Gorge, Jen had asked me about carrying my pole. I was like, for me, it's just a confidence thing that I have it with me just in case. Like when we went to Carpenter, because you get closer to the falls, and that is so steep right there.
Oh yeah, it is.
And it's just, my husband actually like slid a little bit, and that scared us both. But it's just, for me, it's just that little bit of extra confidence. And not that I'm going to do anything dangerous, but just I feel a little bit safer having it, just in case something didn't happen.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, actually, because like some people would say, oh, I've got this, I can do more. Whereas you're saying, like, you're actually saying, no, I can do this much, but this keeps me this much more safe.
Right.
And that's,
Yes. Like when we're doing like some like creek crossings, like they're not huge, but it's just, I take that because it's just like, you don't know where you're stepping in some of those creeks. And even though you think you see, your foot just slides and you never know. And to me, it's just that little bit of extra confidence. Like another story, when we were at Platkill, we had met a docent there, and he walked us down to the bottom, and great man, gave us some great stories and history and all that stuff. And then he kind of left us at the bottom, and my husband was over to the other side, and he was just kind of doing his thing. And I was taking pictures, and I ended up meeting him when we were ready to leave. And he's always telling me, like, just go, just go. It's like, no, like, I need to make sure where my feet are. Well, I go to put my foot somewhere, don't you know, slips up from underneath me. I hit my jaw on a rock.
Oh, no.
And
I think I remember that one, yeah.
Yeah, like, it just went wham. And, like, he thought, like, nothing happened. I'm like, no. Like, I bashed my knee. I hit my chin. I'm lucky I didn't hit, like, my cheekbone, my head, something. Like, it was just my jaw. I'm lucky I didn't break my jaw. But, like, this is why... Don't tell me, just go. Like, I will go in my own time.
Right.
Yep.
That's just me. So yeah, the pole is just, I know my limitations. And even if it just gives me a little more confidence within that limitation, that's what I use it for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So guys, we're over our hour mark. So I thought maybe, we do maybe a couple of shout outs or, recommendations or anything. So I don't know if you guys came prepared this time. I'm going to put you on the spot.
No.
No. I'll go first. Well, I'll go my favorite.
You want to go first? Excellent.
Letchworth. Right. Just go. If you've never been there, I know there are so many people that have never been. Go.
Absolutely.
And don't just stick to the 3 major overlooks. There's so much more to that park, and it's a spectacular park. Just go.
Literally drive end to end. Just
Yes.
the first thing you should do is just drive end to end.
Drive end to end. Stop at the overlooks.
Yeah.
But go back again and go away from those overlooks, because there really is so much more to that park.
I feel like a lot of people, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people don't do like the lower falls, do all those steps.
No, I don't want to do all the steps.
Love it. I love the lower.
Yeah. The lower is
honestly
beautiful.
Yeah.
If you want to do the lower ones and you don't want to do all the steps, go to the Nunde side, because you've got the dirt trails and stuff mostly. Like there's not a lot of steps.
True. But technically that side, the trail is closed. Those steps.
The
steps on that side are
do it on the during the middle of the summer, because then you're not going to be slipping and sliding through all the muck, basically.
Yeah.
But yes.
Because those steps have started to erode, and we've gone down even though they're blocked.
Yeah. So technically don't do it. But if so anyway.
But check out the Nunde side of the park. See what you can find there.
You've inspired Sean to go.
Excellent. Yes.
Yes.
Definitely need to do it, man.
Yeah, you will not regret Letchworth at all. There's not a bad day there.
No. They call it the Grand Canyon of the East for a reason, and it's not disappointing at all.
No, it was the number one. It was America's favorite park, the number one park in 2015, 2014, something like that. It's a spectacular park.
I single-handedly helped it get there, by the way.
What's that?
I said I single-handedly helped it get there.
Yes, you did.
Because literally I did.
Did you vote?
Like the last day, I voted like 275 times. But I think it deserved to be there anyway. I really did. So
A lot of history, and just an amazing area.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say if anybody went to Letchworth, the Gibsonville area is so underrated that they really need to just, after hitting the three major spots, hit that spot and hit the trails. They've got a really great, it's the new nature trail that they have out there.
Oh, the autism nature
trail. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. They broke ground on that.
Yep. Yeah. So they're going to be putting that together, and from what I hear, it's going to be completely phenomenal. So
yeah, that's exciting.
I think the trails are well marked. There's a lot of them, varying lengths, varying difficulty. There's something really for everybody.
Yeah.
Beautiful absolutely. Park. So can't wait to hear what you say, Sean.
Yeah. Definitely. Kara, do you have any shout outs, any mentions, anything?
I just am never prepared for this part.
You're not thankful for anyone. I can't believe it, Kara.
I'm thankful for you guys, including me on your team. Thanks for New York Hikes members for watching, and Sean,
awesome.
if you stop at Letchworth, you better not make you late. He's supposed to come here and go to Niagara Falls, and then
don't be late.
Yeah, so then like our families are going to meet up for some dinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, sooner or later, our family will get out there and do the same.
I'm counting on it.
Yeah.
You guys got to get out here. Bring John.
Yes.
Get him out.
Yes, get John out here. Jeez, what the heck?
And
he likes the Adirondacks.
I'll go back to Letchworth. There's no fee right now because they don't start charging admission yet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So actually, when I was a kid, we knew the person at the entrance because they were our bus driver.
Oh, so funny.
So we could drive through and just kind of wave. It was great. I'm actually going to shout out number one, the Narrows, Cascades, and Heritage Trail project in Troy. We're working with them directly. They're building trails in Troy, New York. Dozen waterfalls, over a dozen miles of trail, and they're connecting a lot of the trail systems within the city. So look them up on Facebook. And then I'm also going to shout out Dig the Falls team, because, without the team, Dig the Falls wouldn't even be where we're at right now, you know, you guys included. You know, and obviously, you know, I think probably 3 or 4 years ago when John and I started putting together like the business plans, or like the plans for, you know, Dig the Falls and how we're gonna, you know, try to make a bigger impact. That was kind of the catalyst that brought everything together. So, you know, without John, you know, sitting with me and kind of pointing me in the right direction, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. So, and I definitely would not have met you two. So, so I think we're, you know, so those are my shout outs for the night, but, I really appreciate, you know, everyone kind of joining in with the conversation. Sean, great idea as far as putting together the book list. I'm going to try to put out like maybe a short blog along with a couple of posts on Facebook. Cara, I'm sure you'll probably do the same as far as like the book list. And then, you know, everyone will know what we talked about tonight. So, but if you guys are good, we'll
good.
cut loose for the night, and then we'll join everyone back here next Tuesday at 7:30.
Okay. Stay safe, everybody.
Yeah.
Stay safe.